The Price of Greed. Prologue. The full moon cast an eerie glow over Umwogo, an ancient Igbo village known for its wealth and mysticism. The winds whispered secrets, rustling the tall palm trees that swayed under the night sky. A shadowy figure moved swiftly through a narrow footpath, her wrapper swishing as she walked. Nneka had made up her mind. She was going to steal her daughter's destiny. The pact with darkness. Years ago, Nneka had been a struggling widow, barely surviving. Her husband had died mysteriously, leaving her and their unborn child in poverty. When she gave birth to Edeora, she had expected nothing but suffering, until a seer in the village marketplace made a chilling revelation. "This girl is no ordinary child," the old woman had said, staring deep into baby Edeora's eyes. "She carries a destiny of unimaginable wealth and power." Nneka's heart had pounded. Was it possible? Could her suffering finally end? That night, unable to sleep, Nneka had made a choice. She traveled deep into the forest where only the brave and the foolish dared to go. There, she found a powerful Dibia, one feared by many for his dark magic. She knelt before him, her eyes burning with greed. "I want to take my daughter's destiny for myself," she whispered. The Dibia had studied her for a long time before he spoke. "You are playing with the gods, woman. The price will be heavy." "I will pay anything," Nneka declared. And so, the ritual began. Beneath the ancient cotton tree, the Dibia invoked spirits that howled in the wind. Nneka watched in awe as a swirling mist rose from Edeora's infant body, her destiny being siphoned away. The baby let out a heart-wrenching cry, but Nneka did not flinch. From that night, her life changed. A life of wealth, a heart of stone. By the time Edeora turned 5, Nneka had become the wealthiest woman in Umwogo. She owned the largest palm oil plantations and controlled the best trading routes in the land. Men bowed before her, and women envied her. She built a mansion that towered over every other home in the village. But with wealth came arrogance. She treated her daughter like a slave. Edeora, who should have been born into greatness, lived in misery. While other children played under the sun, she carried heavy loads to the market. While her mother dined with nobles, she ate cold scraps in the kitchen. One day, when Edeora was 10, she found the courage to ask, "Mama, why do you hate me?" Nneka's eyes burned with contempt. "Because you are weak. You are nothing. Do not speak to me again unless I command you." Edeora swallowed her tears. From that day on, she stopped asking questions. Betrayal and bitterness. As Edeora grew, her suffering deepened. Misfortune followed her like a curse. Whenever she tried to do anything, it ended in disaster. If she planted crops, they withered. If she cooked, the food burned. If she spoke, people ignored her. Even her own mother delighted in her failures. "Useless child," Nneka would sneer. "You were born to suffer." Yet, deep within Edeora's soul, something stirred, a yearning, a whisper of a life she had never known. The villagers pitied her. Some even suspected that Nneka had done something unnatural. But no one dared to challenge the most powerful woman in Umwogo. The turning point. On the eve of Edeora's 17th birthday, her mother hosted a grand festival. Dancers performed, musicians played, and feasts were laid out for the richest men and women in the land. But Edeora was not invited. Instead, she was locked in the back room like an unwanted pet. As she lay on the cold floor, staring at the moonlight filtering through the tiny window, she made a silent vow. "I will not live like this forever." That night, she ran away. Her feet carried her to the village square, where she stumbled upon a group of people gathered under the large Iroko tree. A tall, regal man stood before them, his voice commanding yet soothing. "The Lord is calling his children to freedom," the pastor declared. "No power of darkness shall keep you bound." Something in Edeora snapped. She fell to her knees and cried out, "Help me." The pastor turned, his gaze piercing through her. He stepped forward, placing his hand on her forehead. "Your destiny has been stolen, my child. But tonight, God shall restore it." The prayers began. Thunder rumbled in the distance. The wind howled. Edeora screamed as something dark and heavy lifted from her chest. Suddenly, she collapsed. When she woke up, she felt different. Lighter. Stronger. The chains had been broken. The mother's fall. That same night, Neko woke up in agony. A searing pain tore through her body as if unseen hands were clawing at her flesh. She screamed, waking the entire household. Her once radiant skin turned ashen, her strength drained from her limbs. The wealth she had amassed began to crumble. Her businesses failed. Her servants abandoned her. The people who once bowed before her now whispered behind her back. It was said that the spirits had come to collect their debt. As she lay on her deathbed, writhing in pain, she saw visions of Edeora, her daughter glowing with an aura of power, the wealth flowing back into her rightful hands. Neko reached out, her voice weak. "Edeora, please, forgive me." But it was too late. On a stormy night, she took her final breath, her soul dragged into darkness. The restoration. With her mother's death, Edeora's destiny was fully restored. Everything that had been taken from her returned tenfold. She became the wealthiest woman in Umwogo, not by dark magic, but through divine favor. But unlike her mother, she ruled with kindness. She built homes for the poor, fed the hungry, and ensured that no child suffered as she once did. The villagers told her story for generations, a lesson that no one could truly steal another's destiny. What is meant to be will always find its way home. The end. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Also turn on the notification button for more interesting stories like this.